everybody, welcome to Caketastic Cakes. It's Jen, and in this little short clip here you can see that I'm going to be showing you how to make a Philadelphia Phillies baseball cap shaped cake. This can be augmented to fit any team you like. You just follow the same steps and use whatever color logo you need. Now to start my cake, I began with 6-inch cake tiers. I made two, and yeah, I just made two of them, I think. I think it was just two of them. But I kept the rounded off dome top off of one of the cakes because I don't have little bands on the side. So I stacked them up, and then what I'm doing is I'm just using a paring knife and I'm shaping my cake. And I'm basically trimming off like a little bit of the little crusty side on the outside there. And I'm trying to give it a nice domed look. I was also trying to maximize the amount of cake that the person was going to be receiving. So I didn't want to cut off too much to make it, really hyper realistic in shape and size. So yeah, it's a little bit bigger, a little bit taller, I guess, than a proper baseball cap would be. And it's also more round where it should be a little more oval shape, but whatever, right? Okay, so I've got my cake carved. I'm going to give it a nice coating of buttercream icing. This is American buttercream, so it's going to set up nice and firm. And once I have it all covered and as smoothed off as I can get it with my little spatula there, I'm going to stick it in the refrigerator so it sets nice and firm. Okay, now that I bring it out, it's time to cover it with fondant. I put powdered sugar down on my cake plate. It keeps the fondant from sticking to it, and it just makes cleanup a whole lot easier. Now I'm rolling out some red fondant. It is a pre-made red, so I didn't have to color it myself. I did end up adding a little bit of it was a red color fondant, and I added a little bit of a burgundy to it because it wasn't quite the right color red, the right shade of red for the Phillies baseball cap. So it is a little bit deeper than that like fire truck real bright color that comes in the packaging. So anyway, I smoothed down my cake, so there we go. I'm going to trim off all the extra just like you do and carefully lift it out of the way, and you're going to see when I lift it, yep, it comes right off. All that powdered sugar works great. Now I'm just smoothing it off a little bit. I got some powdered sugar stuck to it, but it doesn't matter. You just rub it and it comes right off. Okay, so well begun, right? Okay, now I'm going to start making some thin little stripes. This is more fondant. And I'm doing this because I'm going to start adding the stripes that go up the sides of the hat. It's going to be basically all the edging that you see on a baseball cap with all the stitches and everything, all the seams. So I had that tool cutter, so it makes nice even stripes, and I rolled out 6 pieces because I've got 6 stripes going up and down my hat. I laid the first one in the front first, so that way that's going to be like my starting point. Try to make them as even as possible. Now I'm using the stitching wheel from a stitching wheel tool that the handle broke. I need to order a new one, and if you need to order it, you can find it in the link in the description below. It's only a couple bucks, it's worth getting. But my handle broke, I didn't order a new one yet, so I had to do it all by hand, and I tried to go down the center of those seams that I'd created. I'm using my knife to just make indentations on either side in order to create more stitch effect. And I did this for every single one. I'm only going to show you this one because it's super boring. Okay, now to make the Phillies logo there, I just have some white gum paste that I'm using now. I'm not using fondant anymore. In this case you could, but yeah, I didn't. I thought it was a little, easier to shape. I held it up to the logo as you saw and just shaped, kind of measured it out. And then I'm using my knife to make a whole bunch of little imprints on it to create the stitch effect because it is just, like a patch basically. And then I shape it with the back of my thumbnails. I just kind of drag my thumbs down either side of the piece I'm working on to make it as thin as I want, so it will flare out at the bottom, so it'll be a little thinner or thicker in spots, whatever I need it to do. When I have it to the right size, I'm going to put it on the hat. I'm removing that piece of seam there in order to make the logo stay flat against the hat. I don't want it to sit like up on top of the ridge and be bulky. So again, just remove that other piece there, and that's it. Okay, now I took a circle cutter, cut out the button size hole on the top that I thought looked good, put a little bit of a blue dot of gum paste in there, and you can see my fingers are blue because I just dyed the gum paste myself. I'm going to add one more seam around the bottom, and I am going to trim off the bottom of the vertical pieces so that you can see it sits bumpy, and now it's all nice and smooth. That was why, so it'll all sit flat and pretty. I'm going to add the little grommets or whatever they are to the hat now. I have circles, 6 circles that I cut out with a circle cutter so they're all nice and even. And I'm using the back of my paintbrush in order to press in the center to create that hollowed out look. Of course, I can't make it actually, hollow and go through the cake because then you'll just see cake. So I just made donuts basically. Okay, and I attached it with a little bit of water. That's what I was doing before. Now I'm using my X-Acto knife and just making imprints again to make it look more like threads, like it's been sewn on. And I'm just going, across, just back and forth across it. Okay, this is the brim of the hat, and this was honestly the hardest part of all of this. It's gum paste, first of all. I want gum paste here so that it will dry and then hold its shape. I just carved, freehanded out a curve to hold it up, and then cut out the brim. I'm using that stitching tool again, just to make the big broad stitches that run across the beam of the hat, the brim of the hat there. And I'm trying to follow the pattern on the hat that I have, the actual Phillies hat that I have. I tried at first supporting it with some extra old gum paste that I kind of hardened, some paper towels. I was trying whatever I could, but it made the hat brim kind of lumpy. You can see kind of there, it's just kind of wavy. It's not real nice and smooth. So actually my husband gave me a piece of cardboard that he had cut and then taped the bottom so that it bowed and curved a little bit together, and it made it perfect. It was nice and smooth, and it was the right size. We just worked it till it's the right size, and there it is there. That's actually it. Now for the final touch, I'm going to add one more piece of edging to the hat where it connects to the brim. It's too long, so of course, cut off the edge, the extra bits so that it all matches up. I'm going to use my stitch tool one more time to go across that piece that I just put on there. And there it is. It's a Phillies hat. I thought it came out really cool. So I hope you found this video helpful. Please like and subscribe. It really does help me out as well. If you want to see anything in particular, drop me a comment down below and I can see if I could do it. And as always, thank you for watching Caketastic Cakes.